The PCI Security Standards Council has published guidance and procedures around determining if a remote assessment is legitimate. It has to be for a legitimate reason, they state, because the on-site assessment approach is the expected approach for their assessments. And I think this principle is true for any type of framework or any type of audit that you might be considering. And so they state in there that some of the legitimate reasons for conducting an assessment remotely is when there are restrictions on the ability to travel or meet in person due to health and safety concerns. We all experienced that during COVID-19. And they also talk about geographic locations that are physically inaccessible or difficult to reach. Our company has traveled the globe performing audits since 2005, and this issue really hasn't been an issue for us. We've been able to get really anywhere that we need to, except for times of security concerns, such as in the Ukraine. We do have clients in the Ukraine, and we wouldn't be able to physically visit them right now due to the conflict that's going on there. But some of the other legitimate reasons that the PCI Council provides for performing an assessment remotely is that the entity operates in a virtual environment without physical premises or facilities. And this is what I think a lot of people have embraced. Well, we don't have an office. We don't have any physical locations. Everybody works from home. Our production environment is in the cloud, and so there's really nothing to see beyond that. And I'd like to challenge that idea and think about the procedures and the processes that your company engages in that happen outside of the cloud. What type of IT processes are there? What type of application development processes? What type of back office processes are occurring? Because I'd like to tell you a story about that. We had a client based in the Bay Area who did not have a physical location. This was pre-COVID-19. They all worked remotely. All of their production environment was in AWS, and they were adamant that anything outside of that was out of scope. And so we had defined the engagement as being restricted to that. But we scheduled a time to meet with key individuals of their organization to walk through critical processes. We started by meeting them in a third-party virtual office location. We rented a conference room there and all sat around the table, and we walked through the services that they provide to their clients. And while we did that, we learned a lot about their data flow, how data came in from the client, how it got into their application in the cloud, and how their employees interacted with that data. And it was really only due to that walkthrough and due to the on-site conversation and observation of their processes that the client had a revelation and understood that their systems that they were utilizing were in scope because they had client data on their laptops. They were transmitting sensitive data received from the clients across their secure connection from their laptops to the cloud environment. They were downloading this client data that had been uploaded by them to their physical laptops where critical processes were being performed. And that would not have been observed if not for the physical visit and the physical conversation where we were walking through those things. If they had simply gone on with the remote assessment, all those things would have been considered in scope, and they would have missed something very important, that there was data outside of the cloud. In that conversation, the Chief Technology Officer realized the importance of this and understood that the fact that his laptop was not encrypted, it was not running the necessary monitoring capabilities that they ultimately did put in place, that would have been missed because they had defined the scope of the evidence provided as restricted to the AWS environment. So sometimes this idea that because we are virtual in our environment and in our people working virtually, that there isn't anything to see, that's something to rethink and consider. So we'd ask you to take a step back and have a conversation with a representative here at KirkpatrickPrice. We care about doing a very thorough job for you and helping you find situations like that where you need to protect your client's data. Contact us today to have a conversation.